Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first episode of Go Out Living. I am your host, Jonathan Brandt. Today is a simple introduction of who I am, why we're doing this, uh, what I hope we can get out of it. Let's start off with who I am. I am, like I said, Jonathan Brandt. I am a cancer survivor. I am a husband and full-time caregiver to my wife, Christy, who is at this point stage 4 cancer. So go out living to me is an attitude. It is the way I want to live my life and make the most out of everything. It is an attitude that I will never give up, that I will be here for my kids. That's where Go Out Living came from. It was actually a discussion I was having with my wife, and she was struggling that day. And I just basically told her, I go, here's the deal. You decide to quit, you know, which I understand. I mean, it's been a long road for her. Or you decide that you want to be involved in everybody's life. You want to not have any regrets for not being at somebody's activity or just being happy for herself, trying new things, trying to get up and, you know, do whatever would be considered new for her in that day. So that's where Go Out Living came from. Like I said, it's not so much a slogan, it's not a quote. It, to me, is an attitude. And that attitude is just don't stop. Another quote that I do actually like and live by, Walt Disney said it, keep moving forward. They just go hand in hand for me. Um, why I started this, like I said, I'm a full-time caregiver now. I am not able to go back to work. I was a medical helicopter pilot. I've also been a CNA, certified nurse assistant. I've been a surgical technologist. Um, I've enjoyed helping others. Even by doing those things, I still didn't feel like, I always felt like I was on the back end of everything. There was no prevention aspect of it. And I want to say over 10 years ago, I actually started another website and with the hopes of just encouraging others to basically get fit. And it kind of revolved around rowing machines and so forth, but a little ahead of its time probably. But it's been a long journey for me to get to a point where I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, which is just helping others in our situation. It's not just cancer. It's all the main diseases out there are affecting so many millions and millions of people, from obesity to heart disease, diabetes. And I don't feel like there's a big enough voice for everybody. And that's why I'm doing this. I don't want to be the influencer, but I want to be the motivator to build this community that is the influencer. I think that's extremely important in this day and age, is to get like-minded people together uh, to try and make a difference. Because honestly, I don't feel like people are listening. When I was going through my cancer treatments and all that, yeah, I had great people around me, but the stress of bills, the stress of, can we afford the meals? Can we afford to do things with our kids? What is the end game going to look like when you don't feel like you're getting a whole heck of a lot of support from the beginning? And it's just because the system itself is so complicated. We're going through it right now. We've been on disability. Like I said, I was a medical helicopter pilot, and I went from, you know, doing very well financially to I lost my medical, which is understandable, but there went my job. I couldn't go to work anyway with the treatments. I mean, I went from what was considered a stage 1 to stage, I guess you would say a stage 4, but they don't really classify it as a stage 4 with Hodgkin's lymphoma. Simply, it just basically means you're doing a bone marrow transplant. The bone marrow transplant itself was difficult. And this is another aspect that I believe we're being left out of the conversation, we're being ignored. And that's not just the treatments themselves of how hard they are on your body and what's happening to you that minute, but it's all the side effects that you're going to end up feeling. So again, another voice. And I bet there's a lot of you out there that feels the same way. Thank God you are over whatever disease you had. You're cured. But there's a long road usually after that. I didn't realize that. There's not a lot of people I talk about it because, again, you're just happy to be alive. But I found out the hard way that's not necessarily the truth, that it's just happy going after that. There are side effects from the treatments, there's side effects from a medication you have to take after, whatever. Again, everybody's circumstances is going to be different. However, if you're not told about the side effects, or if you ignore the side effects, there could be huge consequences after that. And that's something I went through. Now, I'll get into a lot of this in different podcasts and so forth. But again, the main point of today is an introduction and why we're doing this. And another one that popped up to me, and kind of why I'm jumping into this today, I saw in the news. And here's my thing with the news. I think politics, I think the news in general, the sensationalism of everything, one side or the other, is what is truly disgusting as far as getting anything done. We somehow we're allowing these news organizations, these influencers, these experts to tell us how to live our life. They're not asking us that have been through this what it actually means to them when they're making these decisions. For instance, McKeelan Kneeling Give Kids a Chance Act. And it is basically, the act is to provide children with cutting edge treatments. And it's giving more support to finding new treatments and giving them a better chance of life, basically. Well, it's being held up. And it's being held up simply because of politics. Not unheard of, obviously. That's what we're used to. The problem is, again, something that should be very straightforward is now stuck over somebody who wants more money for something else. It's that simple. Those are the things I want us as a community to fight against, because we're not going anywhere when we have to sit there and just see something that is supposed to be for the good of not just one person, but many, just stuck in Congress. For what reason? More money somewhere else. Some powerful somebody wants something from them. Special interest, whatever you want to say, what you want to paint that picture, in the end hurts the people, hurts us, hurts that one person that needs a chance at something that they're just not going to get right now. That's what Go Out Living is about. It's all of us coming together with one purpose, and that is to have that attitude that we're not going to give up, that we're going to give life the best we can, however we can. We're going to love those around us. We're going to do everything we can just to not regret anything. So that's why I'm doing this. And I don't know, it'll be the tough road. I know that. I'm not expecting, a million people overnight. That's not going to happen. I get that. But I feel in my heart that this needs to be done. And it's not just for me. It's for a lot of people out there that are suffering from so many different ailments. And that's where, again, we're going to get into all that. We're going to get into, how can we change? Right now, it's a horrible outcome for everybody. When we're talking about, I think I saw a number of 120 million people that have obesity right now. That's an issue. That's a huge issue. And us ignoring it for the last 40 is what got us here. Us listening to so-called experts, I guess, to me, is how we got here. So I think we need to take charge again. We need ownership ourselves, but we also need to come together and fight for a better future, basically. We have a long road to go. I mean, is that simple. We have been, to me, silenced for such a long time that it's going to take a lot of people a long time to help get us to a better place. And yeah, we can't just ignore the politics, but we can look at it in a different way. We can look at it and how it will actually affect us. We can listen to experts, but we also have to look at where they're coming from, who's behind their experiments, who's behind, if it's a prescription drug, who's behind that for them to be discussing it. Look at who it is, look at who's behind them, and also look at where it would go. What are the side effects of whatever we're talking about? If there's a new prescription drug out for, again, heart disease or diabetes or whatever, what are the side effects? Because again, okay, let's get rid of, like we said, diabetes, but if there's a ton of side effects that you're going to have to endure after that, or that potentially can shorten your life, is it worth it? So again, another reason for having this. Now, I didn't know I was going to do a blog. It's probably only been a couple of weeks now because I didn't know how I was going to help. And again, we're going through so much at home. It's moving constantly. But when it came down to, okay, I can't go back to work. I need to be here for my wife. I had to figure out something else to do. So with me wanting to help so many people, that's just who I am. I needed something for me mentally, and I needed to be able to help others. That's where this came from. Today is a beginning. Today is a start. Today is, first episode. Long way to go. But we can start together. Subscribe. We also have a website. It's going to be a blog. Just starting it, but it will be, again, about health, nutrition. It'll be reviews on equipment or simply shoes, whatever. I have a storefront, Amazon storefront. So one of the biggest things I dealt with throughout this process is whether it's vitamins, minerals, workout gear, everything had to be on a budget, because it's been a long 3 years for us. We have to be able to afford things. But we also want to get healthier. We needed to find things that would work, were good for us, or backed by science, if you want to say that. Easy to get. And part of my problem was looking at review after review after review. And honestly, going, do they actually use these products? That was my thing. Every time I look at it, okay, they're comparing 5 different shoes. Who's actually doing it? Well, here it is. Me personally, everything will be either I used or my family has used, will be on the Amazon storefront. Everything. So I am not going to put anything up there that I haven't used or my family hasn't used. I'm saying family because obviously there's different size. I'm a 50-year-old man. You women, I want a voice for you guys, obviously. I mean, that's just straightforward. So my daughter, 19-year-old daughter, will help me with that part of it. So website. Again, more of a blog. We'll discuss things like this. It'll be shorter, obviously, situation, but we'll do reviews and we'll have fun with it. Again, all this is to help everybody. All this is to bring us together. You'll find us on Instagram. You'll find us on Facebook. You'll find us on X, formerly Twitter. Again, it's just, we're trying to get out there, trying to start this community. We're trying to me, build a future for all of us that have gone through some horrible things. So we're starting it now. Episode 1. I think you kind of get where I'm coming from, what I want to do, where I want to go with this. I want you to be a big part of it, though. The community has to be a part of it or this doesn't work. This isn't just about me. Like I said, I want to be the motivator to get us going, but you guys are the influencers. I got some, what I think are great ideas in how you can be involved with this. And we'll get more into that as I figure it out too. Again, just getting stuff up and running. But after seeing some things, especially in the news, and going through what I'm going through and what my family's going through, I just want to get this one going and get it started. So that's what I got today. And here's what I'm going to say. Find that attitude. get that attitude, keep that attitude, and go out living.